once again, I don't know how to start a show, but it is Blockbuster Mentality. I'm Ben.
I'm Dave.
And today we are welcoming back Mr. Matt Secord. How are you doing, Matt?
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Very special guest.
Yes, he's special.
Special, all right.
Coming all the way from Michigan. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Matt last joined us for The Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last Jedi review.
Jedi.
Plus, we did an analysis show on Force Awakens.
Yeah,
we talked
we
about some Force Awakens, and it
Talked
got a
about
little
Ray.
Yeah,
We
right.
battled on that quite a bit.
Got a little heated.
I almost walked out.
It did. I was We were talking about Mary Sue, and I think we were getting a little mad at each other. It was like,
It was like real.
Matt's over here trying to keep the peace. He's like, Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. Let's get to that.
But like as I said, you were in coming from Michigan. Obviously, you had to fly all the way down here to Tampa, Florida. I hear
I did.
had some drama on an airplane.
Wasn't my fault.
That's what they all start by saying.
It has to do with airplane etiquette, right?
Getting off the plane, you're supposed to wait for the row in front of you to get out. You know, they just goes one by one.
Uh-huh.
Well, people behind us decided that it was time to start running forward.
Oh my god.
So a few people did it, and I said, "Oh, you never been on an airplane before?" They ignored me. Next person does it. I said, "What are you doing? You gotta wait." "Oh, they're moving." I said, "No, they're not." So I stood up and right in front of this dude, and he pushes me, so I push him back.
Get
out of here.
Shoving
Oh,
match.
yeah, and then he throws an elbow into my head and knocks me into the chair.
What?
Oh,
So he elbowed you in the head?
out
What?
of
I didn't
here.
hear this part.
Yeah, so I push him back, and then he pushed him into the other chair, and the flight attendant runs up. I just hit the microphone.
That's all right.
The flight attendant runs up and tells everyone to calm down, and he starts yelling, "F this, F that."
Yeah.
Of course, my wife's my bulldog, so she starts getting into it with him. And he goes, "It's just because I'm black." And I go,
Oh,
"No,
geez.
it's because you're an idiot."
So like, go ahead.
No, that was, I mean, that, and then it just was yelling, and she's like, "Don't just swear in front of the kids. I don't care about your kids. You just did this to me because I'm black." That's what he kept saying.
Man, he shoved you first.
Yeah. I just stood up so you couldn't go past me. And
Yeah,
he
you put
said-
yourself in the
Right,
aisle.
Right, I just put myself in the aisle.
Like,
No
hey,
one,
man.
I knew he was coming.
Into the mic.
Yeah, I knew he was coming.
Yeah.
But
Man.
Yeah.
So your blood must have been. You had the adrenaline and
It
everything.
was piled. And then he got stuck a row in front of me for the next 20 minutes while we're waiting for everyone to get off. With the flight attendant.
Oh yeah,
standing
didn't
there.
the flight attendant like get in between you?
Yeah,
Like he
he's
started,
a big dude.
Yeah.
The flight attendant was not your normal
Yeah.
flight attendant.
Oh
So.
man.
That's intense.
So no police got involved or anything? It
No,
was
they
just-
They asked if I wanted to press charges. I'm like, no, but we made a report.
Yeah.
with the airline.
So how are the mechanics of him elbowing you in the head? Like where was he? Like he
It
hit
was
you?
more like my neckish.
Yeah.
He's trying to like get around
Yeah,
you, kind of.
yeah,
thing,
he was just
or-
kind of trying to push me out of the
Yeah.
way. So
Oh,
I
man.
pushed him back.
Look at you standing
I
your
know.
ground.
Look
That's
at
some
that.
great stuff there.
Man, was he a bigger guy or
No one's bigger than me when it comes to fat.
was he tall or?
Yeah, he was like my height, like 6 foot, but he was
Yeah.
your normal.
Was it Ben? Was it like? Was he fatter?
Yeah.
Than you? That
Just said,
wasn't
was
the
he a,
question.
was he a big dude?
He was your normal dumb.
Guy.
Just an asshole, right? So that's great. I mean, I like someone standing up for polite society. You're like a hero now to me. That's great.
That
I'm like
is
one of
awesome.
those trucks on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like passing you.
Oh man, that's great.
I mean, look, that's just like a part of living in the world, right? I mean, you got to just wait your place in line. If you, it's just otherwise, it's just chaos.
Right.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to get off the plane too, jackass. You know, I mean, you
Exactly.
got to
I've-
wait your freaking turn.
I've never had an issue with that. Like everyone I've ever, been on, it's just, you go one row at a time, you just go and that's
For
it.
some reason,
And-
the back of this plane didn't think so.
Man. So it wasn't just him, it was other people
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you were like, nope.
I'm like,
this
forget
is,
this.
That's no good.
Jeez.
I mean, I check though. I'm always conscious of that.
Yeah.
If I see someone starting to make a move, then I'll get in the way.
Right, exactly.
You got to make a stand.
Yep.
You know, there are those little things, but they're important.
The
Look, and if it means taking a couple elbows in the head or whatever,
gonna do it.
That's awesome.
unwritten rules or unwritten laws. But
Exactly.
man, good stuff. See? Yeah.
So did it delay you a bit then because you had to talk to the cops?
Well, it took a little while. Cause
Well, it wasn't the cops.
No,
it
was
was
just the airline.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
How would
Another
you say
10
your
minutes.
airline handled it?
Fine. They were like, they wouldn't say the guy's name. They're like, well, we have a seat number. We know what's going on because they had to go talk to the flight attendants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flight attendants backed my story up, and the rest is history.
Now, was this a flight where there was assigned seats? Or
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you could have maybe, if it's that important to you, then you pick a seat that's closer to the front. Or
Yeah.
something like that. You know.
That's true.
Or
Makes
you
sense.
you plan on people that are not going to get in your way and stand up for what's right. And you're just gonna bully and shame people into you getting what you want by cutting it ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
Lesson of the story is fly with me. I'll protect you.
Man, that's
Great
crazy.
stuff.
Man, I always picture those scenarios, like I'm gonna, what I would do in those situations, but nothing exciting ever happens to me like that.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I'm glad we had that story. Good. Finally, we have some content on the show.
right.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, well, now that this elevates your status now as our special Star Wars / Lucas guy, Spielberg
Lucas guy.
in that universe. He's our like special guest. A lot of other shows,
Special guy.
sometimes they bring in someone
Yeah.
from like television or the movies or someone.
Yeah, he's
Instead,
like
we
our
bring in your brother.
He's our analyst. Yeah.
But he is. That's so awesome. You're a hero.
I am.
You're
You're like
a
the king of
hero.
the city or something.
Just love how the guy tried to bring the race card into it.
Yeah, that was the part that really got.
Well, when you're screwed,
Everyone
you
else
got to
going.
just say whatever can get you
Yeah,
out
exactly.
of it, right?
Yep.
And that's a powerful shot there to use. So good for you for standing up for yourself.
Well, some of these people we might be talking about today, some of these characters might be ones who would stand up for themselves. I wonder what they would do in a airplane etiquette situation. There's a couple I know that you wouldn't want to cross because what's our category today, Dave?
Today we are doing the top 5 Star Wars characters that aren't main characters, and this was a bit of an internal debate. They
Yes.
call them secondary /
Yeah.
minor, and I think the debate that
I guess minor probably
Yeah.
would be the way. Go ahead.
the debate is, how minor do we want to get? Do we want to get, Jabba's little squeaky guy, the googly?
Salacious Crumb.
Look,
I almost had him on my list. Actually,
the name?
Yeah.
See, this is what I was trying to find.
He was. I was tempted to put him on my list, and I took him out.
Salacious Crumb.
Because he would have said Salacious Crumb, and my eyes would have glazed over. And I was like, get the hell out of here.
What is this?
But yeah,
Yes.
we're trying to hit on not that we had a list of Obi-Wan, Luke, like
Right.
Han, Vader, Sidious, those guys, the big guys, Chewbacca. Try to tease out because there's so many characters in the
Right.
Star Wars universe. There's a lot of good minor characters. So.
Yeah, definitely. And we're trying to stick to characters, not, species or races,
Yeah.
unless like there's a crazy case for
Or a good justification.
yeah, good justification.
Yeah.
But
Other than they look cool.
yeah,
more than
and,
that.
and it has to be from the movies, not from the books or cartoons like Clone Wars, Rebels, or anything like that. So
Although we did have one that I allowed that Ahsoka Tano was allowed. It's just I don't know if we talked on that.
Matt, Ahsoka Tano was allowed.
Oh, okay.
Well, I told him Clone Wars movie was allowed, so that would have
That's a great
put
movie.
yeah. Did you guys have a hard time putting together this list?
Go ahead, Matt.
I did. 'Cause
I did.
Apparently, I liked the main characters a lot, and I didn't know how to
Right.
make a secondary list that wasn't just random on screen for a minute or less characters.
Yeah. I had a little bit of a difficult time, mainly with the ordering. The top 5 I'm pretty happy with. I think I would have had them in no matter what. It's just, the ordering was the difficult side for me. What about you, Dave?
I didn't have too hard of a time, but there was a few there's one that I scratched off that maybe we'll get to that I actually like, but mostly from things not in the films.
Yeah.
So I left that character off. It wasn't that hard, but you do have to sort of think through. Do I want to have this guy or that guy? Because
Right.
everyone, Star Wars, everyone is going to have an opinion on that character you named.
Exactly.
It's not like sometimes we do these top 5 movies from the '90s, or they're pretty broad, and it's hard to really get mad at any one of those picks. I feel like the Star Wars one might be a little bit more contentious.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't think not one person will have this exact same order, exact same list. That's
I'm
how
happy with my top
crazy.
3, not my 5 and 4.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I know we put some stipulations on you there last minute, so you had to change up some things, but yeah.
Just crumb.
Salacious Crumb.
And now I kind of want to put them in there, but we talked about them already, so there we go.
So yeah, again, it's top 5 Star Wars secondary characters. That's what the show title is probably going to be.
And as usual, I think you were probably both pouring through these kinds of lists online, right? Just to remind.
Oh yeah, you got to
did,
look it up and see.
That's fair game.
I didn't
Yeah,
look up
definitely.
the list until you guys told me one of mine was no good. That's when I looked up the list.
Okay. I mean, yeah. At first, I was skimming through my old noggin here, and but yeah, it's just the internet's so easy to remind yourself of things, But
Yeah, definitely.
why don't you kick us off, Dave?
All right, my number 5, and I expect maybe some pushback on this, is Wedge Antilles from the original trilogy. He was there for both Death Star runs. He was there on Hoth, taking down the AT-ATs.
Yep.
I think he's just a great, solid minor character that was always there in the original trilogy. So,
that's a solid pick. I mean, he's always, he's one of the cool,
one of the heroes.
Yeah, one of the heroes, one of the cool X-Wing pilots.
One of the only X-Wing pilots you remember the name of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think him and Luke were the only two out of that X-Wing squad that survived, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Wedge is in all three.
Yeah, he's
right?
in all three. And he's the one that shot the reactor in Return of the Jedi.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, and actually, did you know he is Ewan McGregor's uncle, the actor that plays him?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No.
Dennis Lawson. He is Ewan McGregor's uncle.
Funny how that works.
Fun
I
little
need my
fact.
uncle to be in movies, so
I know, right?
Me in one.
They tried to get him in the sequel trilogy, but I guess he didn't want to be a part of it.
I saw that he's in Star Wars Rebels, which I know you guys have both seen. I haven't. Does he play any kind of major role in that? I just saw him noted that he appeared.
Not a major one. It kind of just shows his beginnings. I think he was originally in the Imperial Academy or whatever, which is cool. Little background for him, but other than that, he's not a major character now.
Okay,
just gives a little background on
so
him.
I wouldn't call this a sexy pick, but I think one.
No, I think
I'm happy to put it
it's a good pick.
I like
think
your number 5 better than mine.
I mean, it's almost again, that is a secondary character. I mean, that's if you want to have an example of a secondary character, there he is. He's not good enough to be in my top 5, but solid pick.
All right, how do we want? Which way
Matt,
we want to go here?
Matt can go.
All right. My number 5 is a droid,
Okay.
K2SO.
Nice.
Oh,
I got
very
that.
nice.
In mine, and
Yep,
higher,
that's
actually.
I have it. I have it at my number 4.
Okay.
I actually have it number 2.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. But you are a Rogue One lover, though.
I love
Yeah.
Rogue One. Actually, I had to be careful about adding Rogue because they're all minor characters.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
you could have that whole cast.
I know, right? So I had to be careful with that.
Who would you, we'll get to K2SO in a second, but who would you pick as like your next person from Rogue One to pick?
One that I left off was Chirrut. Chirrut and
Baze. Yeah, I was thinking of Baze just because that
thinking
ending scene there.
where he starts blasting everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of those guys made my honorable mention.
So K2, I know, you're not the biggest Rogue One guy, but you enjoyed it,
No, I
obviously.
enjoyed it. He's my only one from Rogue One on the list, but I don't know. I just liked everything about him. Really,
Yeah.
It made me laugh right away when he knocks her down at the beginning.
Yeah.
I love that. You're being rescued.
You're being rescued.
No, everything. He was just I've always liked the droids, and he just was the perfect fit in with the droids we've already had.
Yeah, and he may seem like he was a bit major role in that. We aren't including C-3PO, R2-D2 because they're such
major
obvious
characters,
picks,
right.
and
Yeah,
they're basically major just for a little more caveat there. But yeah, K2SO, I think because the humor in it, it never was over the top.
No.
It was just fit so well. Alan Tudyk, I think, did his voice. He's been in so many things. He's a great voice actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this guy. He brings a lightness to this what essentially is a dark movie, and it's a great balance.
His sacrifice.
Yeah.
So they can get to the Death Star plans when all the stormtroopers are coming in.
Right. Yeah. His death and I think Baze's death are the ones that affected me the most.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
heroic for a droid, that death, right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I have him number 2 so high and why I like this character so much is that I think of him as what C-3PO should be or could be.
Right.
Meaning that he has all the intelligence and a personality, but he's also physically capable, which
Right.
C-3PO lacks. So
Yeah.
he's like a security droid in a way, or he's smart. He can probably do all that technical stuff. But packed in there, he could defend himself. C-3PO is useless in a fight.
Right. C-3PO might as well be a computer.
Yeah, exactly
He might
right.
as well just be someone there's there for information.
He's there for comedy, really.
Yeah. He is. I mean, I love C-3PO, but
K2SO does all of that. Plus, he can kick ass.
yeah.
So that's
definitely.
why I love him so much.
So good. I love how they said when they get sucked into space, we'll definitely die. And he's like, I won't. I wouldn't die in space. So good. He brings me a lot of joy when I'm watching that. And again,
Yeah.
it's a darker movie and there's darker tones to it. And it's like
Brings that
not over the
lightness.
top, as opposed to L3 that's in Solo. They tried to make her so much. They tried to make her like the new K2SO, and it's just
She's the worst droid ever created.
Yeah, too eye rolly.
Absolutely terrible. But that's all I had on that. So yeah, that was my number 2. That was Matt's number 5. So now we got to get to your number 5.
My number 4. My number 5 might be a little higher on your guys' list. I'm not sure, but it's a movie that we're going to be talking about soon. It's number 5 is Darth Maul.
He's not even on my list.
Really?
Not on mine
Okay. Go good. I'm glad we have some difference here. Yeah, Darth Maul. He's one of the most redeeming qualities of Phantom Menace. He's cool looking. He's the double lightsaber is awesome. Now that I feel like I'm only picking him due to aesthetics, not actual. No, but I like how they. I mean, I know we're only technically picking movies, but they get deeper into him in the Clone Wars.
Right.
Rebels, like they really give this character a lot of depth, and you understand what makes him tick and things. So that makes me appreciate him in Phantom Menace even more.
That's why he's not on my list, is because I stuck to movies.
Yeah, I know. I cheated a little.
If you just follow the 2 movies.
Spoiler alert. Yep. Well, yeah.
If they haven't seen Solo yet, it's not my problem.
That's true.
He's a throwaway character because of that.
It's true. I mean,
how do you mean?
Well, he doesn't do much obviously he kills Qui-Gon. Spoiler, kills Qui-Gon.
That's a pretty big deal.
I
think he means a pretty huge. He's a huge force in that movie. He's scary. He's capable.
But he's barely in it and doesn't do he finds them in Tatooine. Goes to fight Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon jumps on the
well, I like his ruthlessness. Okay. I think that is conveyed in Phantom Menace.
He's just like an assassin.
Right. Yeah.
Does what he needed to do almost.
I guess I was expecting more from him.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally get those arguments. I guess it's just hard to not go in with the knowledge that I have now with Clone Wars and Rebels.
I think there's certainly enough there. Yeah. He's really the villain as far as you're supposed to know of the Phantom Menace, because we're supposed to pretend like we don't know that Palpatine's the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, in that movie.
Oh, who's pulling the strings?
Exactly. No, I think it's a great choice. The double lightsaber is awesome. That fight scene might be the best lightsaber battle in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So just for that amount is worth it, I think. And it certainly deserves to be on this list.
Definitely. Well, and I mean, because the other lightsaber battles in the next prequels, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, like it's just full of CGI and it's insane. Whereas they actually brought in a martial artist, Ray Park, to perform his actual stunts and everything. So
and the design of the character is pretty cool.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more menacing than the way he looks.
No, and actually I saw a quote that you may have come across this too, but Lucas said this was some sort of a nightmare creature that he depicted on screen.
Really?
Yeah, it was something that he had in mind and then put it out there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Darth Maul, that's my number 5
Great
from
choice.
Phantom Menace.
So it falls to me on number 4. I'm going with Mace Windu.
Okay. Didn't make my list, but interesting choice.
I became a big fan of Windu when I read the Shatterpoint novel. It's the only Star Wars novel I've read. Okay. And it sort of just teaches you a lot about who he is and like his lightsaber style and all that. If you're interested in that, it's like the 7th style, like Vapad or Vapad or something like that. He's like he has like instead of turning dark, he channels like that darkness into like light. And I don't know if you read like nonsense about him. He's supposedly like one of the best swordsman Jedis and all this stuff. He killed Jango Fett, which I like because I'm a kind of an anti-Fett guy. I'm not a fanboy of the Fetts. Yeah. So I like to see him behead him.
Okay.
He led that attack for, what was it, Geonosis? Wherever that
Geonosis.
whole battle.
Exactly.
So I think the guy's a badass. And he's the one who like confronted Sidious and matched him blow for blow.
He's the reason he got all wrinkled like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he could have legitimately killed him, I think.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Anakin showing up.
We talked about, So I like I like the character sometimes, I think, more than what Sam Jackson did with it.
That's true. I couldn't get over that it was Samuel Jackson the whole time.
Yeah, it seems like they used someone with too much star power for that role. It should have been more,
another actor would have been better. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Similar to Obi-Wan and Anakin, which obviously wasn't a good choice of an actor, but at least you didn't know them, very well.
Yeah. So less Sam Jackson, more the character, but I really do like the character.
I like his purple lightsaber.
Yeah, and then
he picked that on his own.
That was Sam Jackson's choice, right? Yeah. He's like, so I could stand out in the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Mace Windu. It's just again the Sam Jackson thing. It's hard to get past that, so it didn't stick out as one of my favorites. But it's a solid choice.
The actor stuck out like a sore thumb
exactly,
on stage.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
He was with bad lines, he was forced to act that way, and it didn't seem right.
Right.
Yeah, he was
Definitely.
like giving like attitude all the time.
Right.
Yeah, but I really liked the character, and then of course in like cartoon stuff and like the Clone Wars and all that, I really liked him in that too. So
Yeah.
and I think that's fair to, a character that was in the movies but also had some roles outside of the movies. I think that's good too, because if you've seen all of them, then that helps your appreciation for them.
You mean like the Clone Wars and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or Rebels or whatever, which I
Right.
still haven't gotten into yet.
Well, the Rebels is after he had passed, so
Oh, okay. That takes place after between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope?
yeah. So it's
real
basically like
close to the New
4
Hope.
years before New Hope, I think, something like that. So yeah, he's all gone by then, but
And then before Rogue One.
before Rogue
Yes.
One, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, solid choice, Mace Windu. There
That's
you
all I had
go.
on that.
That's your number
four.
4. All right, cool. Matt, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is another droid,
Okay,
BB-8.
Nice.
nice choice.
Love
Good choice.
BB-8.
I mean, because if you think about it, when you go in to see Force Awakens, you expected C-3PO and R2-D2 would be there.
Right,
Which
yeah.
they were, but barely.
Yeah.
And then you have this new droid BB-8, which we knew from all the commercials that would be in it. And he almost
Soccer
stole.
ball.
Yeah, he almost stole the show because of how cool he was, and just the humor they used with him was just enough.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I think they definitely crushed BB-8 in a good way. BB-8 and K2SO to start off these new movies. Yeah, I love BB-8.
I do
He's-
too.
he's
Not
a lot
on
of
my
fun.
list because I was hoping that somebody else would have it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you had it because he's such an awesome droid. He's so great. And the way he's designed is he can kind of go anywhere with that rolling ball thing, which basically makes him so much more capable physically.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a little personality.
Right, yeah, the personality gives the thumbs up. And
yeah.
I like when
The
the
lighter.
scenes with Finn and stuff, and he's looking back and forth, kept going back and forth,
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, that's great.
BB-8 is so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, you could get his personality out of him just from him moving around, which was kind of cool.
That's kind of like what Wally was when we talked about that.
That's true.
There's no he doesn't speak, but you can tell
You
Wally's
know what's going on with
personality.
Oh, Wally. Yeah. I was like, what's Wally? Yes,
I mean, that
Wally
whole
from
fir-
Pixar.
the
Yeah,
whole-
definitely.
It's actually the episode we just
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah, I remember.
Man, how'd I miss that one? I'm a Pixar guy too. But anyways,
That
yeah,
was our top 5. What was it?
Movie robots.
Movie robots.
Yeah, but Wally, I mean, yeah, that whole 45 minutes at the beginning, he never says a word.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
And those
have to
45
say,
minutes
though,
are great.
Right.
Just as a brother, he's not listening to all of our episodes.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
this
know,
is still we
it's-
got to put this on air here. So
He was one of our
shame him.
first, He was he was there for the longest time. But we do a lot of movies he's never seen, so we got to
Yeah.
get him on the train to
I
see
gotta
more
get on the
movies.
train to see more movies.
But BB-8 is an outstanding.
Yeah, I didn't. And going into Force Awakens, I was not looking forward to seeing him.
No, I thought he was going to be a Jar Jar.
Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah,
oh,
you
come
never know,
on,
right?
just orange soccer ball, like, get out of here. But then, yeah, when you see it, it's just like he brings so much joy to that movie. So yeah, great choice. My number 4, we already talked about K2SO.
Nice. All right.
All right, next.
So I'll move to my number 3. I have Orson Krennic from Rogue One. I think you probably
Interesting.
knew I'd
I
have
would
that
have
one.
never thought of him.
Well, I mean, there's another Imperial type guy that I think. I mean, you might have him still in your list, but okay, yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't think he would be top 5 material, but what about him? Is it that you like?
Appreciate that preview for me.
I'm just
I
saying.
think that kind of stinks. So, what's your
Yeah.
thought? I think that's mostly. I think on the performance of Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, definitely.
And this, I also just like depicting someone who's like kind of caught in like the power struggles and the bureaucracy of the empire. I think that tells a story that we never had before and still haven't yet. Of how do you exist if you're on that side?
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you operate?
I think I'm kind of contradicting my own rules, but I would have picked him maybe if we included books and stuff, because I really enjoyed him in Catalyst, which is the book that came out that leads up to Rogue One. Basically takes place, basically the whole Death Star plans is what it leads up to, or what it's about. And yeah, you really see his struggle to try to rise up and get the power, and he is back and forths with Tarkin and things like that.
I think you get arguably as much depth out of a villain in any Star Wars movie there is. I mean, we know besides Vader and his motivations. I mean, this guy actually you feel like almost I don't want to say sympathetic, but you're like understand his frustrations and what he's trying to do.
Yeah, Tarkin steals it right out from under him.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes and complains to Vader. Vader's
Right.
like, "Screw you!"
Yeah.
Right? It's
Well,
like,
they touch
Don't
on
choke on your aspiration.
yeah, they touch on that in the book too, which I love. But yeah, I mean, you might see why I didn't pick him when you see who's next on my list. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad choice. I'm just going through my own top 5. And
yeah, I'm also a huge Ben Mendelsohn fan. So
yeah, no, he did great. I think he was one of the again another highlight of that film, and yeah, I just love seeing the inner workings of like the Imperials. Like everything kind of was on the surface in the original trilogy. Like you didn't really get to dive deep into how things actually worked. Whereas we're starting to get more of that, which is cool.
He has ambition. He's not only does he want to murder a lot of people, but he's trying to navigate the politics with freaking Vader and Moff Tarkin.
Yep.
How do you do that? Or maybe in any situation, we talk about when we touched on the original trilogy where Vader's just choking out guy after guy. What kind of person wants to get promoted?
Right. Yeah.
Well, that answer was sort of given to you in Rogue One. It's the Krennics of the world who still think they can be that great man kind of thing.
Definitely.
So I liked that touch.
No, great call.
Thanks.
All right, what's your number 3, Matt?
My number 3 is Lando.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad someone else had him because he's my number 2.
Okay.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I liked everything about him when Empire and Return of the Jedi, and then with Solo with a little more background.
Yeah.
I thought, I can't even think of the guy's name, but the actor did a good job.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, Donald Glover. He did more of an impersonation of him, but at the same time, I liked where they went with him and showed how he'll do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, I really liked the touch on like the fashion and like how he is in that. But yeah, Lando. I mean, that's to me again one of the more ultimate secondary characters.
Right.
A guy that you think is bad, and he's another one caught. I mean, he's not like Krennic, but in a sense, he's caught in between. He's in a bad situation. He's not necessarily a bad guy,
Right.
but he does a bad thing, and then he then redeems himself for it. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then he does definitely redeem himself in Return of the Jedi. He's a great character.
Yeah,
Love Lando.
yeah, I love him too.
I'm not sure that I really liked his depiction in Solo, to be quite honest. I like Glover, but I'm not sure I liked what they did with him there.
Yeah. Remember, I think in our review you said something about the writing. He was a victim of bad writing.
Yeah, it was. He did what he could do, but they didn't really. Other than him being prissy, I didn't really get much from him. He didn't even shoot a gun. I don't think.
Yeah, he wasn't in it that much, really.
Yeah, other than just being like a shady card player.
Right.
You know? I wanted just a little more out of that.
Yeah, no, I can see that. But yeah.
But even if Solo never happened, Lando
He'd
is a
still
great
be
choice.
a top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Lando, again, loved him in Empire Strikes Back. Just he's just the cool character.
Right.
He shows up and he's just, so, smooth and everything, smooth talking Leia.
Yeah.
He's just such a cool character.
What have we here?
Exactly. The way this list is going, I think you guys might be surprised. My number 1.
Are we up to 1 now?
No, I jumped ahead there. So that was your number.
That was my number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is someone, again, why I was saying about the Orson Krennic stuff. So my number 3 is Grand Moff Tarkin.
Okay.
I
from
knew
A New
that's where
Hope.
you were going.
Yep.
You were heavily hinting that's where you were going. No, Dave, that was a bad choice. You should have picked Grandma Tarkin like me. That's basically what you said.
I mean, this is the Imperial. You have no idea why in A New Hope that he has some sort of authority over this strange black creature / robot that is Darth Vader.
His leash, as Leia refers to it. Right?
Exactly. He has some sort of authority over this man. I mean, how can you not respect that? Peter Cushing, right? That's the actor.
Fire when ready.
Fire when ready. And I love how they brought him back in Rogue One. I think that technology is awesome. Again, just so cool that he does have this authority over Darth Vader. You're not really sure why. They do get into it in the book Tarkin, which came out, and they also touch on him in Catalyst. So
you still don't know in the movies though.
Yeah. I mean, in the movies, I mean, you don't really know why.
You know that he's there and he's a presence, and Is he is he wealthy? Does he? I'm curious.
Yeah, he comes from like a wealthy planet, and
does he use that to his advantage in some way?
Yeah, in a way to kind of start up. But yeah, you just kind of goes on, certain missions with Darth Vader, and he like explains to Darth Vader what he went through when he was a kid. Even though he was brought up a certain way, he still had to do difficult things, and that's why you kind of learn Darth Vader's respect for him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why he's taking orders from him. Like, it's out of respect. It's not out of I'm scared of you or anything like that. It's just, I respect this guy. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that definitely gives more depth to Tarkin as a character. But even, before those books, I was always drawn to him when A New Hope would be on. I'd be like, who is this guy? Like,
he's so cold.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah,
heartless,
exactly.
right?
And he's only in the one movie.
Dantooine's too dense to, give a proper demonstration. Let's blow up a planet anyways. like he can call the authority to blow up a planet. And the way he like we were talking about with Krennic, the way he comes up from under him and just kind of takes away his achievement, as Orson would say, is just like another way of just saying, man, this guy's the real deal.
He's like a political master or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 3.
Great stuff there.
Good choice.
My number 2 was K2SO, so go to Matt for...
My number 2 is someone you're not going to like.
Okay.
Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me get
I'm not
through
really
this.
anti, but...
All right,
okay.
but let me get through this.
Okay.
As a kid, you didn't know much about Boba Fett, but he was cool because he took over, or he captured Han, which, I mean, Han was my favorite, but then in number 3, he gets eaten by the Sarlacc pit, which was kind of cool. And so you just never know anything about him. And there's all these stories about him.
He thinks he's alive still.
Well,
he's got to be. Okay. In the books that are no longer canon,
right.
He does call
so all
him
these
out
cool
of
stories. And then prequels come out, and it's kind of cheesy, but you see his backstory a little bit more, and how he's a clone that was kept with his dad and everything, and he sees his dad killed, so you can see why he turns to being a bounty hunter or whatever, and against pretty much anything good.
Yeah.
So he has a good backstory, so I don't know.
Yeah,
everything about him looks cool.
He is a cool guy.
I would be surprised if this isn't on most secondary lists just because of the popularity around him and everything.
Maybe that's
not
just the only reason why.
Right, it's not that he's done much. I mean, they threw him into A New Hope when Lucas edited it. He's standing there at the Millennium Falcon. So
he is a good bounty hunter.
He's been in a lot more movies than you think.
Yeah, and he was slick enough to figure out what they were doing. I'm sorry.
Slick.
No, when they were in Empire Strikes Back, when they attached themselves to the ship and then released themselves with the garbage.
Yeah, he was right there.
Yeah, definitely. To me, there just wasn't enough of him in the movies to put him on my list. I've always thought he looked cool. And
he's the coolest looking character in all of Star Wars, probably. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of figured someone would have it on their list, so I didn't put him on.
How do you feel about his death? He just kind of accidentally turns on the jetpack and then.
I always thought it was. I always thought it was cool because I got to see the Sarlacc burp afterwards or whatever. So. As a kid, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
How does Mandalorian taste?
To me, he's just one of the more overrated characters. I feel like I'm knocking everyone's list, but
no, I agree. But at the same time, I'm going back with my
your childhood feelings and everything.
I mean, this is a top 5 minor. He's certainly a top 5 minor character. Absolutely. Just because I'm glad you had it on actually. Because I think many people would have it on their list.
Oh, absolutely,
Just because, Ben and Dave.
Just because Ben and Dave are idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. All right, so good choice. So that was your number 2. My number 2, again, was Lando Calrissian.
Alrighty.
All right, let's get on to our number 1s.
Let's do it. That's on you.
No, it's you.
What was your number 1?
Because my number 2 is Lando, so it goes you started.
You go.
All right, number 1 is Qui-Gon Jinn. Everybody vomits.
He's in my honorable mentions.
I would say honorable.
Yeah, honorable mentions, but not on my list.
I love Qui-Gon. And the next, we're doing 2 episodes here. One is top 5 minor Star Wars characters, and we're also doing the Phantom Menace. I think there is an argument that maybe you don't want to get into here, but Qui-Gon Jinn is possibly the greatest Jedi who has ever lived. I love Qui-Gon.
Oh, man.
Wow.
He's making those claims.
You
hear that?
Out there.
The door is there.
Yeah, they're going to kick me out.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he is the one who the Jedi. I'm just going to briefly say the Jedi Council in his era was wrong, time after time after time. And by the time they figured out what was going on, it was way too late. Qui-Gon Jinn actually had the right attitude about the Force and how it all worked, and maybe they wouldn't have screwed over Anakin if they didn't treat him the way they did.
I'm not saying this to knock your choice, but I actually just got me thinking, was he, though, the Genesis, which I might say in the next show. Was he the genesis though of Darth Vader? You know, was he the genesis of the fall of the Jedi?
Absolutely. I mean, that's certainly he was certainly more chaotic and willing to shake that bush and see what came out of it.
Right.
But even that aside, he also turned Obi-Wan into the man that he became.
Exactly.
And if there's battles for greatest Jedis, I mean, Obi-Wan is certainly in that conversation. So.
And I mean, to top it off, it's Liam Neeson. I mean, come on,
he's great. I thought he was great in that movie.
It's Liam Neeson's, man.
He was the steadiest force, and probably I would say definitely put on the best performance of that movie. So I love Qui-Gon. I talk about fanboy stuff. I'm actually a Qui-Gon fanboy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how'd you like it when he kind of showed up in Clone Wars?
Great.
Yeah. So cool. I think it was Liam Neeson's
that's
voice.
kind of hinted to in Phantom Menace.
What, that he would show up?
Yeah. He
Oh,
we'll talk about it in that.
Okay, we'll talk about it in that episode. Okay.
So Qui-Gon's my number one.
Cool.
This is one that this is actually, I just loved Qui-Gon for years.
Yeah.
And when I used to be a nerd on the message boards on theforce.net, I used to talk about Qui-Gon with some fellow posters. So
that's awesome.
Love Qui-Gon.
Yeah, good stuff. He was almost my number 5. But yeah, good stuff. Matt, what's your number 1?
All right. You're going to laugh, but my number 1 is more of a childhood thing. It's Jabba the Hutt.
Mine too. All right. Number 1.
I'm going to give you guys a high five. That's
we were obsessed with Return of the Jedi as kids. And Jabba was just he was it. I mean, he was the best part of those movies.
Yeah, he was always like, even my kids now, they're like, "Oh, is that the Jabba one?" You know, when when you talk about that movie. Yeah.
Why this big slug is the biggest gangster? I have no idea, but it worked.
I would love to get more backstory on how that whole,
why are we afraid of this thing that can't move?
Yeah. What's so scary about
he ends up in a bunch of movies because of Phantom Menace with the pod race.
Exactly.
And then New Hope, they added him in because they'd already filmed it
as that guy
with a human, right? Because they hadn't decided what Jabba really was.
Right.
And then the whole puppetry and everything, watching the behind the scenes stuff with the puppet. It's amazing how they did it and everything about them.
They have like people inside the thing, or
once that movie, every time
there's like 3 people inside and then other people on the computer.
As soon as they fly away off of Tatooine and Luke's going to Dagobah, then for me the movie kind of just goes. Bleh.
That's how it is. Yeah. That's how it was when I was a kid. But now,
yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, the whole Yoda stuff and Obi-Wan and everything else is awesome.
Yeah, and Luke obviously with Vader.
But
and everything.
I would just rewind it and go back to there. VHS, never forget.
Never forget. Oh man, we're not on YouTube anymore. We can see your shirt.
Who hasn't done that last?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my number 1 too. We said, what's so scary about him? What was so scary about Vito Corleone? We never saw him do any violence. We never saw
until number 2.
What? Till number 2? Oh, yeah, the second Godfather. I see what you're saying. Man, I cannot figure out what people are saying today. But yeah, Jabba the Hutt, again, childhood reasons, plus, I just think it's an interesting character, Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, number 1. Guys. Real quick, let's go through our list real quick. My number 5 was Darth Maul, then K2SO, then Grand Moff Tarkin, then Lando Calrissian, then Jabba the Hutt.
All right, I had number 5 starting Wedge Antilles, Mace Windu, Orson Krennic, K2SO, and Qui-Gon Jinn.
K2SO, BB-8, Lando, Boba Fett, and Jabba the Hutt.
Fantastic. Nice. Yeah, I think we had good variety here.
Yeah. And I was sort of conscious, hoping you guys would pick the ones that you picked, like BB-8, for example,
Definitely.
And even Boba Fett, it's a great choice. I'm not a Fett guy, but I think it deserves to be mentioned. So great stuff there.
Yeah, awesome.
And Jabba, obviously.
Yeah.
And, I just kind of go my own way, guys. So.
You do. That's why we're on this side of the table.
Exactly.
Quick, who's your favorite primary character?
Got to be Luke.
Han Solo.
Han Solo. Sorry. No, Luke is great too.
I love, Han Solo's great, but I love Luke.
He was just too whiny.
Who do you like better as a character, Indiana Jones or Han Solo?
Han Solo.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
See, I'm going to go back, though, to Luke, because what makes Luke the best is because he's always... He's almost like on the edge of turning to the dark side, I think.
Yeah, especially, obviously, you even see that quite a bit in Jedi or Empire, and then obviously in Jedi. But yeah, that's a good point.
Actually, I think I'm going to change to Indiana Jones. I'm going to change back to that.
Yeah.
Or change over to that.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all. That's all, folks.
Tired of arguing with the brothers. I think I'm rethinking this whole guest,
Sorry,
guest
man.
appearance thing in the
thanks.
future.
I can't wait to do an Indiana Jones
Yeah,
movie
Indiana
again.
Jones.
Well, you won't be doing it with me. I won't be on the show.
We can do that.
That's true. He quit.
I quit. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for us, folks. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast and subscribe to us on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Leave us reviews. Interact with us on Twitter. I'm at B Secord.
I'm at Dave_Quist. Matt, where are you at?
At Matt Secord.
Nice.
Look at that. Well, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thank you for
We'll
having
have to do
me.
it again.
brother?
Yes.
My brother. My
You're
brother.
coming out, my brother.
My brother.
You guys are more than friends.
That's
We share blood.
That's true. We share things. We
The heck
share
happened?
bodily fluid. All right. This show went off the rails. All right, folks. That's it. All right. Well, as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys.
At the movies.